What is good, YouTube? It is your boy Anime Paradise, and I hope everyone's having an awesome April. I hope you guys have been good and enjoying the Wano arc. One Piece has been on fire all year, and Oda refuses to step on the brakes. Full speed ahead. Ain't that right, boys? With the fandom arguing and speculating theories on possible future uses of Conqueror's Haki, I thought it'd be a cool idea to make a video on all current known uses of Conqueror's Haki, especially with the new additions we got in this arc. Before I hop into today's videos, I would just like to say I recently put out a video on all D members explained, so feel free to check that out once you are finished with this video. The usual, make sure you guys drop a like and comment if you happen to enjoy this video. Hit the subscribe button for more content. You guys can feel free to submit video ideas in the comment section below. Before we get into this video, I just want to spice it up in the comment section a little bit real quick. Comment down below a character in One Piece who's not a confirmed Conqueror's Haki user, but you feel like has the potential or should awaken it or already has it, but we just don't know yet. Go crazy, but you must have a solid explanation as to why the person should have it. If I see a good explanation, I'll definitely shout you out in the next video. Now let's get on with this video. Since this is the first character in One Piece we've seen in this series demonstrate Conqueror's Haki, I think it'd only be right if we start out with our boy red-haired Shanks. Shanks is one of the 4 emperors of the sea as well as the captain of the red-haired pirates, a well-known powerful crew. Don't play with them. Along with Buggy the Clown, Shanks served as an apprentice under the king of the pirates himself, Gold D. Roger. He inherited Roger's straw hat, which he later gave to our boy Luffy. In addition to all I just listed, Shanks inspired our boy Luffy to become a pirate. During his days as a young pirate, Shanks would have duels with Mihawk that would put the whole world on notice. This just goes to show you how strong our boy Shanks is. I mean, he was a rival to the world's strongest swordsman. I wish I could dive more into Shanks' character, but we have yet to get a Shanks backstory, and I honestly cannot wait for that. As stated earlier, the first time we seen a form of Conqueror's Haki was from Shanks, which he used to scare off a dragon that bit off his arm. Considering Shanks doesn't have a double fruit and he only has one arm, I think it's safe to assume he might be one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful Conqueror's Haki user in the show. The only person who I would say might have a better use of Conqueror's Haki than him is Roger, but that's up for debate. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Go crazy, don't hold back. I can't wait to see Shanks show us the full potential of Conqueror's Haki in his highly anticipated fight against Blackbeard. Now on to our next user. Our next user we are going to be talking about is Edward Newgate, also known as Whitebeard. Whitebeard was known as the world's strongest man and a former friendly rival of Roger. Whitebeard grew up as an orphan in Sphinx, a country too poor to become a nation under the world government. In order to support his village, once he reached a certain age, Whitebeard set out to become a pirate and supported his village with the money and resources he earned. Whitebeard was never interested in treasure, he only cared for a family. After a couple of years into piracy, sometime later Whitebeard joined the legendary Rocks Pirates, who had legendary pirates like Big Mom, Kaido, Captain John, and Shiki. During the battle at God Valley, after a joint effort between Roger and Garp, Rocks was defeated and supposedly died at God Valley. There are rumors and theories that suggest Roger and Garp weren't enough and Whitebeard decided to help. I think that's what also happened, but I don't think we'll find out till Kaido's backstory. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. After the God Valley incident, Whitebeard formed his crew under the Whitebeard Pirates and slowly started putting together the family he always wanted. One day while they were sailing, they were suddenly shipwrecked on Wano. It was while they were shipwrecked he met Odin, a samurai from Wano who wanted to explore the world and become a pirate. After putting Odin through a 3-day test by having him hold on to a chain while being dragged by a ship, he let him join. Sometime later, Roger and Whitebeard came across each other, and Roger begged Whitebeard to let Odin join his crew. Before Roger's death, Roger visited his old friend and rival Whitebeard and told him everything, including what D meant, where he could find the One Piece, and more. Despite being the man closest to the One Piece and even being told the exact location by Roger himself, Whitebeard had no interest in it at all. Whitebeard continued sailing and living on with his family. Fast forward, unfortunately one of Whitebeard's commanders was turned into the Marines by one of his former division members, Blackbeard. In order to get Ace back, Whitebeard along with many other pirates joined him in a war against the Marines, one that we now know as the War of the Best. Unfortunately, the war resulted in a tragedy as not only did they fail to rescue Ace, but both Ace and Whitebeard died. Before Whitebeard died at the hands of Marshal D. Teach, Whitebeard uttered one of the most famous words in the entire series: "The One Piece does exist." Then he died standing like a goat. That is it for the world's strongest man. The next user we are going to be talking about is the fellow Worst Generation member, Eustis Kidd. Besides Luffy and Zoro, he is the only member of the worst generation who can use Conqueror's Haki. Kid is an infamous pirate from the South Blue and the captain of the Kid Pirates. Before the pre-time skip, Kid was the only member of the worst generation to have a higher bounty than Luffy. But that was only because he and his crew used to cause a lot of civilian casualties. Sometime during the time skip, he lost one of his arms in a battle against the captain of the red-haired pirates, Shanks. At some other time, Kid entered Big Mom's territory and injured one of her commanders and then, quote, took what he wanted and left. We have no idea what he took from Big Mom. It could have been a copy of her poneglyph. I have no clue, but since Kid is about to go 1v1 against Big Mom, hopefully we find out what he took. At some point later, Kid attempted to form an alliance with fellow Worst Generation members Basil Hawkins and Scratchman Apu to defeat Shanks. But he was set up by Apu and had Kaido fall out of nowhere from the sky. I mean, that has to be one of the greatest entrances in all of anime. That was crazy. I can't imagine how manga readers felt. I wasn't caught up at the time, but when I saw the anime, I was going crazy as well. But yeah, Kaido arrived at Kid's pirate hideout, and because Kid refused to submit to Kaido, and as stated by Basil Hawkins, he will not stop fighting. After he was defeated by Kaido, Kid was imprisoned by Kaido, and it was during he was in prison Kid and Luffy met again, and he told Luffy that he'll be the one to defeat Kaido. After seeing what happened to Killer, Kid decided to prioritize finding the rest of his crew and rejected Luffy's offer to form an alliance. After getting his crew back, Kid decided to join Luffy and Law to help take down Kaido. As stated earlier in the manga, currently Kid is going 1v1 against Big Mom. The fandom has been disrespecting Kid a lot. I mean, the disrespect has been at an all-time high. And I honestly hope Oda allows him to have a cool moment against Big Mom, possibly even defeating her. I mean, since Luffy's about to defeat Kaido, Big Mom has to go down some way, right? And I also hope it isn't too much to ask for Kid to get an awesome backstory, because let's be honest, we love backstories, especially sad ones. Drop a like if you agree, boys. The next person we are going to be covering is the Dark King and the right-hand man of the King of the Pirates, Silver's Rayleigh. While Rayleigh was young, his house had got burned down, and in order to find a place to live, he stole a ship. Sometime later, he met Roger, who was quite fond of the ship. I don't know what was Roger's problem. Roger told Rayleigh it was a dated meaning and that it was destiny. He convinced Rayleigh to join him by becoming the first member of his crew. At first, Rayleigh thought Roger was out of his mind, but at some point he decided to change his mind and he joined Roger. Rayleigh and Roger then gathered a crew, sailed and conquered the New World. Rayleigh was there for Roger's entire journey from the beginning to the end, meaning he went to Laugh Hill, he knows about the Void Century, and what the One Piece is. After Roger's death, Rayleigh decided to take it easy and retire. After taking an interest in Luffy and seeing him lose his brother Ace, Rayleigh decided to train Luffy. For 1 year and 6 months, Rayleigh taught Luffy the basics of Haki. Before Luffy headed off to the New World, he thanked Rayleigh and told him that he was going to become the king of the pirates. Rayleigh smiled and shed a tear. He compared Luffy to Roger, claiming that destiny is slowly but surely taking shape, and that Luffy has become a man well fit to wear the straw hat. I love Rayleigh. He's probably honestly one of my favorite senseis in all of anime. It's honestly between him or Gojo. Shout out to my boy Gojo. Free him. And since we're talking about right-hand men, I think it'll only be fair for the next explanation to be the right-hand man of the future king of the pirates, Roronoa Zoro. Zoro is our latest member of the Conqueror's Haki Club, and it is only fitting because he is going to become the world's strongest swordsman, and he is the right-hand man of the future king of the pirates, Luffy. Zoro unbelievably has a strong will to not only help Luffy become the king of the pirates, but also to become the world's strongest swordsman. He'd happily die for that dream, which I have the utmost respect for. Zoro has always been able to remain faithful to Luffy and go even greater lengths for his captain by even taking the pain from Luffy plus more from Kuma and flexing like it was nothing while also not telling Luffy about it. Currently in Wano, throughout the whole entire roof fight against the Yonko, Zoro has saved Luffy numerous times and even stepped in the way of Kaido attempting to harm Luffy while he was unconscious. Shout out to all the people who way before it was official said Zoro had Conqueror's Haki. I never doubted the idea, but I was waiting for Oda to confirm it. As a child, Zoro trained at a dojo in Shimotsuki village. Even as a child, Zoro was strong enough to take on most of the adults, but he had one problem: he could never beat the dojo master's daughter, Kuina. After battling and losing to Kuina for the 2000th time, Zoro challenged her in a private match with actual swords. Crazy, right? Despite improving a lot since their last fight, Zoro still lost. This moment was very huge because it was here when Zoro put Kuina on notice that he wanted to become the world's strongest swordsman. Kuina told him that she also shared a dream, but she stopped chasing it because her father told her she could never be a true sword master because of her gender. Zoro fed up with the whole idea of her father thinking that just because she's a female she can't achieve her dream of becoming the world's strongest swordsman, caused Zoro to tell her that he will beat her not because of her gender, but because of skill. The two then made a promise that one of them will become the world's strongest swordsman, but unexpectedly a tragedy had occurred the next day. Kuina died after a fatal fall down the stairs. Feeling mixed emotions of anger and disappointment, Zoro took it on himself and asked her father Koshiro for her sword, the Wado Ichimonji, and began working to develop his signature three-sword style, Santoryu. At some point, Zoro found out that Mihawk holds the title of the world's strongest swordsman, and after countless years of training and grinding, Zoro finally set out to sea in searching of Mihawk so that they can duel. Unfortunately, due to his terrible, man, get this man a map, Zoro got lost, and in order to survive, he took on bounties and quickly earned a name for himself in the East Blue as the Pirate Hunter. Isn't that fire? One day while he was in Shellstown, Zoro came across a little girl who was about to be attacked by a wolf and killed. Zoro saved her by killing the wolf. Because Zoro had killed the son of a corrupted Marines captain dog, he was tied to a pole for a month and was told that he'd be free. Unbeknownst to Zoro, he was going to be executed in 3 days, but luckily at the same time, Luffy was trying to recruit Zoro. So fast forward, Luffy managed to make it in time and jump in the way of the bullets that were going to be fired in Zoro's direction. After Luffy defeated Morgan and got Zoro back his 3 swords, Zoro decided to join his crew, and so he became the first mate of the Straw Hat Pirate. Sometime later, Zoro came across Mihawk, and it was then Zoro challenged the world's strongest swordsman to a duel. Unfortunately, Zoro lost, but after that fight, Zoro promised to Luffy that he never ever lose again, and he has yet to suffer defeat. That is it for Zoro. I have a whole entire video dedicated to explaining Zoro that I'm working on, so I'll just be brief for the length of this video. Our next user is the beautiful pirate empress Boa Hancock. Hancock is the captain of the Kuja pirates and a former warlord of the sea. She's the current empress of Amazon Lily and rules over the Kuja pirates with her young sisters. She was the main antagonist before befriending and falling in love with our boy Luffy. And before the story began, Hancock and her sisters were slaves under the world nobles. For 4 years she wished nothing but death, and she used to wake up so messed up like she could not die. One day, she was freed by the goat fisher tiger, and at some point she was eventually taken in by Elder Nylon, and so she became the empress of the Kuja pirates. During the Summit War saga, Hancock played a major role in helping Luffy get to Impel Down, and not only that, she saved Luffy numerous times, which he thanked her for. Hancock is extremely powerful, and in my opinion, she's very underrated. Currently in the storyline, after the warlord system was relinquished, Kobe set out to capture her, and I think she's going to beat Kobe honestly. I honestly hope Hancock can use Conqueror's Haki coding similar to Luffy and Kaido, but we're going to have to wait and see after Wano. Man, One Piece is about to change big time after Wano. Can't wait to see what happens after the Straw Hats leave Wano, but for now, let's enjoy it, right guys? Before we get into the next character, comment down below who you think will win the fight, Hancock or Kobe, and why. Luffy is the next Conqueror's Haki user we are going to be talking about. Luffy is the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates, the sworn brother of Sabo and Ace, the grandson of the legendary Marine Vice Admiral Garp the Hero, and the son of the Revolutionary Army leader Monkey D. Dragon. He has a Straw Hat Grand Fleet. He's friends with Vivi, the Princess of Alabasta, Shirahoshi, the Princess of Fishman Island, and Rebecca, the Princess of Dressrosa. He's claimed Fishman Island as his turf, and he's currently allied with the Minx Samurai of Wano, and has previously and is still currently allied with a few members of the Worst Generation. Man, you would have thought I was Morgan's with the way I listed that. But I listed all this to show you guys how much of a king Luffy is, and besides him being the main character, why it makes perfect sense for him to have Conqueror's Haki. I mean, he's simply a king. After young Luffy was given his signature straw hat and inspired by red-haired Shanks, after Shanks saved his life, Luffy decided he no longer wanted to join his idol Shanks' crew. He decided once he reached a certain age, he set out to gather a crew and become the next king of the pirates. Luffy did do as he said he would, and he did gather an awesome crew, one that we now know and love as the Straw Hat Pirates. After many crazy encounters with strong pirates and government officials, Luffy has made quite a name for himself and is a serious candidate for the king of the pirates. I mean, he's even getting acknowledged by emperors who have been in the game for years like Big Mom and Kaido. But I mean, this is Luffy of course, and I expect nothing less from the future king of the pirates. I stated earlier, as of now, right now in the story, Luffy has allied with the Samurai Wano, Minx of Zou, and fellow Worst Generation members Eustis Kidd, Trafalgar D. Law, and Killer to take down Big Mom and Kaido. And he's currently going one-on-one with Kaido, so our boy is definitely on his way to greatness. I can't imagine how huge Luffy's bounty is going to be after this arc. Shit, I might even make a video talking about future bounties after Wano. But that is it for Luffy. On to our next user. The next user we are going to be talking about is Pork Ass D. Ace. Ace is the son of Gold D. Roger, the king of the pirates, so I guess you can call Ace the prince of the pirates. Just messing with y'all. As a child, Luffy, Ace, and Sabo all promised each other that once they grew older, they set out to sea at the age of 17 and become great pirates. Ace then left at the age of 17 to become a pirate, and he was quickly making a name for himself. Ace originally wanted to defeat Whitebeard, but unfortunately he lost and was brought on Whitebeard's ship. After numerous attempts at trying to take Whitebeard's life, he finally gave in and joined Whitebeard's crew and became the second commander of the Whitebeard pirates. One day, Marshal D. Teach, a member of the Ace's division, decided to kill the fourth commander, Thatch, in order to acquire the Yami Yami no Mi. Ace couldn't stand the fact that Blackbeard betrayed Whitebeard, and so Ace went out to chase Blackbeard. Sometime later, Ace and Blackbeard came across each other, and after a crazy intense battle, Ace unfortunately lost to Blackbeard, and was turned into the Marines so that Blackbeard could become a warlord. This then led to the war known as the War of the Best, a war between the Whitebeard pirates and the Marines in order to rescue Ace. Unfortunately, Ace wound up dying during the war after jumping in the way to save Luffy. Till this day, I tear up every time I watch that scene, man. I love Ace as a character. He's one of my favorite anime characters of all time, and the One Piece fandom loves him as well. This explanation for Ace was going to be way longer than it already was, but I had to cut it for the purpose of this video. If you would like a video fully explaining Ace, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and comment. Once I hit 50 subs, I promise I'll drop that video. Now on to our next user of Conqueror's Haki, Gold Roger, the king of the pirates himself. Gold Roger is the king of the pirates, so it only makes sense for him to have Conqueror's Haki. According to Monkey D. Garp, Roger grew up in difficult circumstances and developed a strong dislike of losing his loved ones beyond anything. I believe he set out to sea around the same age as Luffy, 1918-ish. While looking to gather a crew, he met his first mate, the Dark King, Silver's Rayleigh. He viewed their first meeting as a fated encounter and demanded he join his crew. Of course, Rayleigh thought Roger was out of his mind and that he was crazy, but eventually he gave in and the two set out to sea and made quite a name for themselves. I believe as he started making a name for himself, he met Garp and they formed a sort of rivalry similar to what Luffy and Smoker have, but I believe Garp was actually around or equal to Roger in strength, while Luffy and Smoker are in two different dimensions. Sometime later, Roger and Garp teamed up on an island called God Valley, and together they took down a dangerous pirate called Rox D. Zebek. He was known as Roger's most formidable opponent. There are theories that speculate that Whitebeard possibly switched sides and helped, but we have no clue as to what happened. But all we know is Rox was defeated and he died. I hope that this doesn't stay a mystery forever. I hope we get a small flashback of what happened, or something, or maybe even a fight. Can you imagine, man? But that is totally up to Oda. Moving on, sometime later, Roger snuck into Big Mom's territory and stole her poneglyph. 3 years prior to Roger's execution, Roger and Shiki the Golden Lion had a battle known as the Battle of Ed War. Shiki offered to join forces because Shiki had found out about an ancient weapon Roger had, but Roger refused to team up with Shiki and so they battled. Roger won, of course, but the reason why he won still remains a mystery till this day. I mean, they were surrounded by a bunch of ships and suddenly a storm came up and wiped out all the Shiki ships. Isn't that crazy? Moving on, Roger and the Roger pirates then sailed to every island, but once they reached the final island, Lotus, the log post was not stop spinning. It was then Roger knew that the only way they would get to the final island was by way of the royal poneglyphs. But he had one problem: our boy could not read them. Sometime later, Roger came across Odin, a samurai from Wano who was a commander on the Whitebeard pirates. And once he found out Odin could read the poneglyphs, he begged Whitebeard and Odin to let Odin join the crew. Odin accepted, and so they went on a journey to read all the poneglyphs, which led to the final island, which he named Laugh Tail Island. After conquering the entire Grand Line, Roger was given the title King of the Pirates. By the end of his journey, Roger had a serious illness which had no cure, so he had decided to turn himself in. Roger had accomplished everything he wanted. Before he turned himself in, he met with his lover real quick, Portgas D. Rouge, to make Ace real quick. Oh, and he also had to make a quick stop to say goodbye to Whitebeard. Can't forget that. On the day of his execution, thousands of people arrived to watch his execution. And we even had young big shots such as Mihawk, Doflamingo, Crocodile, Smoker, Shanks, and Dragon. Before Roger was executed, we had a man in the crowd ask for his treasure, the One Piece. And so Roger spoke his famous word: "You want my treasure, you can have it. I left everything I gathered in one place. Now you'll just have to find it." And so the Great Pirate Era began, and many men set out to sea to find the King of the Pirates' treasure. That is it for Roger. Next is the captain of the Big Mom Pirates, Charlotte Linlin, Big Mom. Big Mom is a former member of the Rocks Pirate, as well as an Emperor of the Sea, so I guess it's only fitting for her to be a user of Conqueror's Haki. Big Mom rules over Toto Land as the queen, and she wants to form it into a utopia where all races of the world can live together in harmony without experiencing any discrimination or segregation. Despite her seeming evil and teaming up with Kaido, unlike Kaido, Big Mom has good intentions. I guess it's just her way of executing things that throws everything off and makes her seem like a bad person. But she's not purely evil though. Even though Big Mom was born to normal human parents, she was abnormally huge and really strong as a child. When she reached age 5, she was kicked out of her homeland due to her uncontrollable behavior, causing a lot of trouble. And as a result, her parents were forced to leave her on Elbaf with hopes that Mother Caramel would take her in. Unfortunately, at the time this happened, her parents had lied to her and told her that they would pick her up later. After spending some time on the shore, Big Mom was taken in by Mother Caramel and was taken to Sheep's house, a place where Mother Caramel took care of fellow orphans, which included children of any race or status. Since Big Mom was really strong, she would end up hurting the children and animals a lot. I mean, one time she got mad and slapped the bear because it ate the wolf. But that slap was so fucking vicious, it killed the bear. Isn't that crazy? On the day before the winter solstice, I don't know if I said that right, festival, Big Mom and the children of Sheep's house were given an offer to take part in a feast. And it was then Big Mom immediately fell in love with Semla. And so the festival began and they all had to fast for 12 days. Big Mom suffered greatly because she had a craving disorder, and on the 7th day she finally folded. She snapped and she couldn't take it anymore. And so she went on a rampage to get Selma. In this rampage, Big Mom injured several giants and nearly destroyed the village. This rampage didn't stop until she was pinned down by everyone and finally fed Selma. When she finally woke up and snapped out of that craving, she didn't remember a thing, which pissed off the giants even more. After causing all this damage, Caramel and the other sheep's children had no choice but to leave Elbaf and head to another island, and so they did. Sometime after settling on the other island, they celebrated Big Mom's 6th birthday with a tea party at Croquembouche. Big Mom was so happy and excited and emotional, she cried tears of joy and ate the whole meal and everything. And by everything, I mean not just the food, but tables, chairs, and hell, even Mother Caramel herself. After she was done, she realized all the other children and Mother Caramel were gone. She then decided to search for them, but they were nowhere to be found because she didn't realize she ate them. And now she was all alone. Shrezun, the chef of the current Big Mom pirates, watched the whole entire thing. And after witnessing this, he decided he wanted to work with Big Mom. It was then they decided on a dream to make an island where all races lived together in harmony. Sometime later, Big Mom realized she had gained Mother Caramel's powers, and with the help of Shrezun, Big Mom began engaging in pirate activities and began conquering islands and giving citizens the option to obey her and join her or just die. She quickly began making a name for herself and gained a bounty of 50 million berries. At some point in the future, Big Mom became a member of the Rocks Pirates and fought against Roger and Garp during the God Valley incident. On the same day, Big Mom gave Kaido his fish fruit. After this incident, Big Mom went on to form her own crew. Currently in the story, Big Mom is teaming up with Kaido to go after the One Piece. That is it for Big Mom. On to the world's strongest creature, Kaido. Kaido is the captain of the Beast Pirates, a Yonko, as well as a former apprentice of Roxy Zebek. 40 years prior to the start of the series, Kaido joined the Rocks Pirates and fought against Garp and Roger, and was defeated along with his captain, causing the crew to split up. On the day this happened, Big Mom gave Kaido his fish fruit, which caused Kaido to owe Big Mom for life. It is stated that after becoming a pirate, Kaido has been defeated 7 times and captured 18 times by the Marines. Kaido was never recognized as a top pirate until around the time Roger was about to be executed. Sometime after Orochi became the Shogun of Wano, Kaido formed a partnership with him and supported him. Well, if we're really being honest, it was more like Kaido ran Wano and Orochi was just his fucking puppet. Let's just be real. 25 years ago, right before Odin was about to kill Orochi, Kaido and Orochi made a deal with him. If Odin danced naked in the flower capital once a week, the citizens will be spared, and also they will leave Wano in 5 years. 2 years later, Kaido fought Gecko Moria and defeated him, and in this defeat, Moria lost his entire crew, and because of that, he will forever hold a grudge against Kaido. Eventually, Odin found out that Kaido was lying about the citizens being held captive, and that they were trying to build an army to take over Wano. Odin and Kaido fought, and it was in this fight Kaido gained his signature scar. As Kaido was about to be defeated by Odin, Kurozumi Higurashi turned into Momonosuke and distracted Odin. Kaido took advantage of this and knocked out Odin. Kaido had this lady killed because she interfered with their fight, and Kaido absolutely hates that win. On the day of Odin's execution, Kaido joined Orochi and witnessing this execution. Odin then made a deal with Kaido to let those who survived the execution go free. Kaido gave him an hour to be boiled in a hot oil, and if he made it, he and the others would be free. This was known as the legendary hour. Despite Odin surviving the whole hour, Kaido still executed him. This victory caused Kaido to hate himself. As stated earlier, currently in the manga, Kaido is allied with Big Mom and is trying to take over the world. Right now, he is facing off against our boy Luffy in a one-on-one fight. Sounds crazy, right? The next Conqueror Haki user we are going to be talking about is the sweet commander of the Big Mom Pirates, Charlotte Kalakuri. Kalakuri is the son of Big Mom, who is considered a queen, at least in Total Land, and she is the emperor of the sea, so it's only right. Kalakuri was born as the second son. Fun fact, when Kalakuri was born, he stood up and walked and took a seat for himself, so that's a natural apology that we're talking about right here. At age 3, Kalakuri's habit of eating fast caused the size of his mouth to greatly expand and tore his cheeks apart, leaving deep scars on the side of his mouth. As a result, he was always made fun by others and bullied. But because he was really strong enough to beat up his bullies, they will always run away. When Kalakuri was 10 years old, some bullies he beat up decided to take revenge on him by cutting Broly's face. Isn't that a weak move? Kalakuri was so mad he went back and caught the bullies and beat the shit out of all of them. It was then he decided he'd become a ruthless cold man and made sure everyone feared him. So that he could always protect his siblings and family. When Luffy and the others crashed the tea party, Kalakuri was determined to make sure Luffy and the others didn't escape. And so the only way Luffy could free the ship was by taking Kalakuri to the mirror and going mano a mano with him. That fight was fire. Some people didn't like it, but I really enjoyed it. It was in this fight Luffy learned how to see slightly into the future like Kalakuri. Before Kalakuri accepted defeat by Luffy, he asked Luffy if he is going to come back and beat Big Mom one day. And Luffy told him yes. In order to become the king of the pirates, he would have to. After Kalakuri fell back, Luffy placed his top hat to cover his mouth as a sign of respect and left. After hearing the news that Luffy successfully escaped Whole Cake Island, Kalakuri smiled. Kalakuri is one of my favorite characters in One Piece, and the fight in itself is one of my favorite fights in all of anime. Man, the memories of just getting up early on Friday to read the One Piece chapter, classic, man. I had no idea on what Luffy was going to do to defeat Kalakuri. The whole experience in itself was just fire, man. I personally believe that the manga fight is better than the anime, but that's a whole different discussion. So Kalakuri is definitely one of my favorite antagonists of all of One Piece. Definitely number 2, falling behind the Joker. And speaking of Joker, let's get on with our next user of Conqueror's Haki, Doflamingo. Don Quixote Doflamingo is our next user of Conqueror's Haki, and Doflamingo is one of my favorite anime villains of all time. His backstory was fire, and I swear to God, Doflamingo has one of the coolest devil fruits in all of One Piece. The creativity with that devil fruit is just spectacular, man. Oda just went in on that. And I know a lot of people don't like Dressrosa, but at one point Dressrosa was my favorite arc in all of One Piece. I feel like the experience is so different when you're not going weekly. When Wano first began, I wouldn't say I didn't like it, but it was really frustrating and mid for me. Because Oda was trying to build and set up things, and I honestly just wanted to jump straight into the war. I love and appreciate Wano a lot now with the anime and just the roof fight. I mean, we love Roof Piece, right? But yeah, I understand how you guys feel about the whole Dressrosa thing, for those of you who don't like it and complain about the pacing, but I love it. Now on to Doflamingo. Doflamingo is a descendant of the royal family, and he actually once lived in Marijois. However, when he was 8, his dad got tired of living as a noble and wanted to live normal. And so they moved. However, Doflamingo was so accustomed to living like a noble, he had expected the commoners on the island they lived with to bow to him, and that honestly angered the commoners. And on top of that, despite his dad renouncing his title, the people of that island hated world nobles in general. And so the people of that country oppressed the Don Quixote family. They burned down their mansion and drove them into living into a shack. This isn't funny at all. When his dad called the world government for help, they refused, and Doflamingo heard this over the phone and was shocked. Sometime later, Doflamingo's mother died from an illness, and eventually the citizens found Doflamingo, Crozone, and his father, and they honestly beat the fuck out of them, and ended up lynching them in the process as well. It was at this moment Doflamingo swore to kill every last one of them, and it was at this moment for the first time ever Doflamingo used Conqueror's Haki, and that awakening has to be one of the best awakenings in the entire show. So Doflamingo used Conqueror's Haki to knock out the entire mob. Later at some point he met Trebol and told him that he's a user of Conqueror's Haki. Really impressed, Trebol thought of Doflamingo as a chosen one, and so he gave him the Ito Ito no Mi and a gun to exact power and revenge to anyone he wanted to kill. Doflamingo then went on to kill his father, the man who put them in their current position, and despite Crozone begging for him not to do so, Doflamingo pulled the trigger. Doflamingo then attempted to regain his status as a noble by bringing in his father's head back, but was rejected, and so he swore revenge on them as well for rejecting him. Sometime later, he returned to the North Blue and was elected as the leader by Trebol, Virgo, Pika, and Diamante, and they swore to help him become the next king of the pirates. Doflamingo did go on to make quite a name for himself, becoming the king of Dressrosa, as well as becoming a warlord and Kaido's dealer. After being exposed and defeated by Luffy, Doflamingo was taken to Impel Down and put in level 6. I'd love to go super in depth into Doflamingo, but this video will be way too long. Maybe that will be the 100 subscriber special, who knows, but in order to find out, you guys are going to have to hit that subscribe button. On to our next user. Our next user that we are going to be talking about is the former Fleet Admiral Sengoku. Sengoku achieved the highest rank in the Marines. He was one of the major figures of the old era along with Whitebeard, Shiki, Garp, and Roger. We don't really know too much about Sengoku. The One Piece Wiki states that he was born in the South Blue. I'm pretty sure since he and Garp are really close, they all started around the same time, and eventually he and Garp grew close while they were in the Marines. Before the series began, Shiki had went to Marineford to break out Roger and kill Roger himself because he had too much respect for Roger to believe he was going to die like that. But he was stopped and defeated by Garp and Sengoku. That battle was so legendary, it is said half of Marineford was destroyed in the process. Man, Oda just keeps telling us about these awesome battles that we'll never ever get to see. Crazy, right? I personally believe that Garp was supposed to be the fleet admiral, but because he declined the job so many times, it was offered to Sengoku, who accepted it. That's all we have for Sengoku. Only 2 users left. Let's get on to them. Our next user is Qin Zhao, formerly known as Qin Zhao the Drill. He was a former pirate, the head of the King Don Qin Zhao family, and the retired 12th leader of the Happo Navy. Let's not forget to mention, he has one of the most funniest backstories in all of One Piece, man. Long before the series started, after he attained a large amount of treasure, he decided to bury it all in one place so no one could have it but him. The key to getting access to this treasure was his pointy head. After he decided to get into a battle with Garp the Fifth to see which was stronger, his head or Garp's fist, not only did Qin Zhao lose the fight, his head got smudged and it lost its pointy shape. And since his head wasn't the same shape, it was no longer the pointy key. He no longer had access to the secret treasure stash in the ice continent. As a result, he grew extremely depressed and grew to hate Garp and his family with a passion. In the Dressrosa arc, while fighting Luffy by accident, Luffy brought his head back into proper shape, so it became pointy again. Okay, that's enough of that. On to our next user. Our last user that we are going to be discussing in this video is the samurai from Wano, Kozuki Odin. Odin was the former daimyo of Kuri, the son of the former late shogun Kozuki Sukiyaki. He was also the leader of the 9 Red Scabbards. Odin was the former 2nd Division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates, and he also sailed with the Raja Pirates, all the way to Laugh-Tale. So that's quite the resume right there. As stated earlier, Odin is the son of Kozuki Sukiyaki, and as a child he committed many nefarious acts. He committed so many of these acts it caused his father to disown him several times. Eventually, Odin met all of his scabbards and they all served him quite well. At some point, Whitebeard was shipwrecked on Wano, and Odin always dreamed of becoming a pirate and venturing out of Wano. It was at this moment Odin raced to shore and clashed with Whitebeard and asked to join his crew. Whitebeard of course said no at first, but after Odin passed his test, well, I guess he didn't because he went on to save Toki. Regardless, he did meet Whitebeard's standards. Odin and Whitebeard traveled to many different islands, and Odin got to experience the outside world and all sorts of cool things. At some point, the Raja Pirates and the Whitebeard Pirates met and they clashed, and then they partied of course. Raja found out Odin could read the poneglyphs and begged Whitebeard as well as Odin to let him join his crew. Odin wanted to find out about the history of the Void Century and about everything, so he went along. He traveled with Raja to the final island and learned everything. After his journey as a pirate, he went back to Wano, but when he got back there, it was no longer the same. It was being ran by Orochi and Kaido. Odin was about to kill Orochi for all the messed up stuff he had done while he was gone. But when Kaido and Orochi lied to him and told him that they will kill the captives, Odin believed them, and so he stopped. Kaido and Orochi then made a deal and told him that if he danced naked every week, they wouldn't kill the innocent captives, and so Odin agreed. After 5 years passed, Odin learned the truth, that it was all a lie, and he also found out after old man Hyogoro, he was young at the time, after Hyogoro refused to join Kaido and Orochi, they killed his wife and imprisoned him. Odin furiously gathered up the scabbards and then went after Kaido. Right before he was about to defeat Kaido, the Kurozumi lady turned into Momonosuke and distracted Odin. Kaido attacked Odin and knocked him out. Odin was then put on a trial and was to be executed. On the day of Odin's execution, Kaido joined Orochi and witnessing the execution. Odin then made a deal with Kaido to let those who survived the execution go free, and Kaido gave him an hour. This was known as a legendary hour. Odin was to be boiled while carrying his scabbard. Despite Odin surviving the whole hour, Kaido still executed him. Before he was executed, Odin told Toki about the prophecy that in 20 years young powerful pirates will come and defeat Kaido and open up Wano. We are unaware of how Odin knew that this would happen, and I hope we find out. I have a whole video dedicated to explaining Odin, so expect that soon along with all the other stuff I promise. That wraps it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. That is all 16 known Conqueror Haki users explained. I hope in the future we get more users revealed, but not too many or it wouldn't be rare. Once again, that is it. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of this video. Comment down below your favorite Conqueror Haki user. Drop a like for me if you enjoyed this video. Hit the subscribe button for more content and join the family. I got a bunch of awesome videos coming, so definitely be on the lookout. Once you subscribe, you should definitely check out my other videos. I cover a variety of content on this channel, ranging from weekly reviews to character explain videos and more. That is all for this video. I worked extremely hard on this video, so I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and see you boys in the next one. Have an awesome day.